Thank you, Senator King. Senator Cortez Masto.
Thank you. Let me just thank the chair and ranking member for this important conversation today. And what we are talking about is drought in the West, not just along the Colorado River, but along in the western states. But we have the benefit of so many of you that have knowledge about the Colorado River. And I want to start there because in Nevada, the Colorado River is very important for our needs in the state. And Mr. Ensminger, I want to put this in perspective because there's been a lot of talk about the water. If we're just talking about the water along the Colorado River, it really follows the law of the river, which was implemented, in 1920, along the 7 basin states and how they would allocate that water and share it. Because quite honestly, if you want more water out of the Colorado, you're taking it from some other state. And so there was an agreement. And can you talk to me, how much water is Nevada allocated out of that 15 million acre feet of water?
Our allocation is 300,000 acre feet.
Is that the lowest amongst all of the states?
Yes, by far. If you add up the 7 states and Mexico, Nevada has a legal entitlement to 1.8% of the river.
That's right, because we have the 7 basin states, and then over a million acre feet have to go to Mexico as well along the Colorado River. So because of the lowest allocation we have, and now we have 3 million people in the state, talk a little bit about what the Las Vegas Valley Water Authority did in early 2000 to address the water needs of the people in Nevada that were taking water, including across the state, but particularly in southern Nevada, where we have most of the population. What did the Water Authority do? Because I think conservation is key here, and it plays a great role in a story of what we have done in Nevada to augment some of this water. Would you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely, and I'm as big of a fan as anybody else if there's a solution to bring in more water, but what we've seen in the last 20 years is really, it's all about conservation, it's all about demand management. And our wake-up call came in 2002, which is still the driest year in the recorded history of the river, when only 25% of normal inflows came in. So beginning in 2002, we upped our Water Smart Landscape program, paying people. We currently pay $3 per square foot for people to remove turf. And as I mentioned in my opening, we've now taken out enough turf in the Las Vegas Valley to lay a 18-inch wide piece of sod all the way around the circumference of the globe. We have very strict water waste enforcement. We have a tiered rate structure so that those who use more water pay more for it and use those funds to fund our conservation programs. And overall, it has led to a dramatic decline in water usage. As I said in my opening, we're using 26% less Colorado River water today than we were in 2002, despite our population increasing by 800,000 people.
And what do you anticipate? Because you anticipate how many years in the future that we're going to need water, and talk a little bit about that. Is Nevada and Las Vegas in dire need of water right now, or you're planning for the future with population growth included in that? Is that correct?
That's correct. So we do a 50-year resource plan, and we do it every single year so that we always have a fresh 5-decade outlook on what we think our population is going to do, which for Southern Nevada, we project it'll increase from about 2.4 million today to about 3.8 million in 2076. So we are always looking out into the future, and we then match up what we have to accomplish in conservation in order to be able to accommodate that population growth with, again, the smallest water supply on the river. So we are right now using about 112 gallons per person per day, and we project we need to continue to drive down that use to 86 gallons per person per day by 2035 in order to be able to accommodate that growth.
And that includes back in August of 2021, and I think the commissioner referred to this, is there was a tier 1 shortage condition for Lake Mead, which required us to allocate less water, right? Reduce our water consumption from Lake Mead by how much?
That was by 20,000 acre feet, but fortunately, because of our conservation efforts, the shortage declaration doesn't mean you have to use less water than you're using today. It reduces your legal entitlement. So we reduced our entitlement from 300,000 to 279,000, but last year we only used 242. So because of 2 decades worth of preparation, conservation planning, we did not have to actually have our customers reduce the amount of water they used last year.
Thank you. And I know I'm running out of time, but one final thing. We are landlocked, so what else should we be doing? What else do we need to be thinking about to address the water needs in the western states, particularly along the Colorado River right now?
We need to help all of our friends and partners in the other 6 states and Mexico continue on their conservation journey. As you know, with the bipartisan infrastructure law, there's funding for the major regional recycling facility in Southern California, and that's an example of across state lines cooperation, and I think a model for other things that need to be done. But every user in every sector needs to be planning for how they're going to take care of their share of the pain.
Is every user doing just that?
Not yet.
Thank you.